lets me put my trigger guard on here and tell where this thing needs to stay kind of fat. From about here back, this doesn't need to go down near as far as it does right around the triggers. So about right there is where I need to leave it fat. That is some tight grain wood and fairly hard for walnut, and it needs to be in this area where it's so tiny and small. It needs to be hard. It needs to be tight grained. Now, I said I'm going to leave this fat. I didn't mean obese. It needs to be a little bit sticking up so I can set that trigger guard in place properly, but it doesn't need to be quite as thick as it is right now. That'll let me see more of what I've got. Now I got to take some off the sides, because those side plates, when you go trying to set side plates in, you sort of need an established height. If you don't have it, it's just hard. It's hard to inlet something very precisely when you got to cut through an 1/8 inch or more of extra wood there. So I'm going to take it over here on the mill, and I'm going to mill off those sides and get them down a little closer to what they're supposed to be. And I've got to also check the screw that connects from one side to the other. There's a screw in there, and the length of that screw tells me how thick that is at that point. So I got to figure out a way to put this into my mill sitting flat where I can mill this off. See, here's my side plates without any wood in between them, and that screw that's holding those together tells me how wide this has to be. So all I got to do is hold that out there and measure it. The outside of the wood from side to side is about now I've got pressure pulling these things apart. It's about 1.428, and I could leave that wood a teeny bit proud to strengthen it, but at that point it's got to be about 1.43, give or take. And the receiver at the front of these things, the receiver is bigger than that. That's because that whole shebang tapers back. See, that's 1.485, and back here it's 1.43. So it tapers. It doesn't go parallel all the way back. Truth be known, this might be even bigger than that. 1.48. No, this is parallel. These two sides here are parallel, but it tapers back after that. I probably should write that down, 1.43. Now I know this one goes on the other side, but I can flip it over and use it as a pattern and put it pretty close to where this is going to go. Pretty close. These old side locks, they have a, alright, this this sear, the hammer's cocked and the sear is sticking down, which they're aggravating because they stick down past where they're supposed to be. So you got to drill that hole for it to go in on a slant. But I'm going to relieve this hammer. Actually, it was already uncocked. Now it's cocked, and the sear is still sticking down. But that hole goes basically right there, and the bottom of it, it's got a drill on a slant. So I drill about a 1/4 inch hole to let this sear stick in there and catch that trigger. And I will stay away from that edge and drill it and then work my way down and get closer, and then I'll get this one where it fits in there, and I can turn this part in and set it in the hole, and I can get a better outline of this. And I've got to relieve for all of these springs and all the works inside of this plate. So I got to pull all this apart, because when I drill, if I have this in the way, I'll drill right into the side of those triggers, and that cannot happen. So I got to take it all back apart. See, to make this thinner, I just took right through the table saw and just sheared off part of this. Well, it may have been a 1/16, maybe not even that much, but it was just enough to get my surface here down to where I can work with it and do my milling I got to do in inletting. And most of this is by hand, but some of it I'll do on the mill. Those two holes that I just put in there for those sears, they met in the middle, right in here. I don't know if you can see this. They met in the middle, right in there. Now those triggers will come in from here, and those sears will come in and touch the top side of those triggers, and they will touch right in there. All right, now when I'm milling, I take out my deepest thing first, which is this plate that holds all this stuff together, and that's 41. That's 0.41-ish, right at 41. This is about 25 thousandths thicker than what it needs to be eventually, but so if I go 41 plus 25 thousandths is about 435, somewhere like that. And that's this plate. This plate mills out first, and that's this line right in here. Everything inside that black pencil line I'm going to take down to about 43. When they made this thing, they just hollowed out the whole thing. They just took everything out, just cleaned it out, and no wonder it broke. You know, it's just there's nothing left of it. So we're going to try to keep that from happening, but I'm going to take this down to 41. I guess I could draw the other side and go ahead and take it down as well. that comes all the way down and then out. And this comes on a slant and then forward. So everything inside that mark there gets taken down to 40.435. Okay, that's my deepest setting for that capture plate for all those springs. Now if I flip this thing over, I've come off the bottom of this vise onto this surface. If I just flip it over, I should get the same depth of cutting. I should. I made me some little blocks that form against that and hold it. The next step, milling this out, I've got to go 0.385 deeper than this surface. So I've already got that set.